Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Today, we are so glad that you are here. I'm going to take just a second and make sure that I have got everything rolling on my end. I am psyched to have you here. I know that Donna is too, and we are so thankful as always because you could be anywhere, and we are glad that you have chosen to be with us, whether you're on live with us now or on the replay. So we are so excited. Our first episode of The Breakthrough was amazing, and we are thrilled at the response, at the private messages that we've received, and it has been just the best time starting this show. And so a big, huge thank you to everyone who has been involved in sharing the show, sharing our message, coming on with us live, watching the replay, and all of that stuff. So I invite you to take a minute, click that love button, share this show out with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, anybody that would need some inspiration and an amazing show to watch today. So all of that said, my name is Jessica Dugas. I am an intuitive mentor helping women to live with less stress in their lives.
And my name is Donna Brown, and I'm a holistic wellness practitioner. And this is The Breakthrough. It's the spiritual view for your soul and your mind, where we dig deep in today's hot spiritual topics and inspire you with stories of those breakthrough moments that change our lives. Throughout the show, you'll be hearing from both spiritual leaders and friends. And of course, we want to hear from you. So be sure to chime in with comments, questions, anything you got, where we would love to hear from you. So hit that reaction button throughout the show as well, so you can show us some love as well.
Awesome. So my question today is, have you ever felt like you are in a constant state of breakthrough? Do you ever feel like you just can't catch a break? Today's guest is my friend, the amazing Lucinda Harman. She's coming to us from South Africa, which I'm always amazed. And I know Donna and you and I talk about this all the time. I'm amazed at what technology does for us and being able to bring us all together in one place. So Lucinda is an international speaker. She's a workshop facilitator, and she's a fellow double Aquarius like me, and is very passionate about humanitarian work. I'm so excited to have her on the show today and hear her inspirational story of determination. But first, we are going to jump into our hot topics.
And our hot topic today is inspired by this graphic. Hello. So the question is, past, present, and future, where do we focus? Jessica, where do we focus?
Well, first of all, I love this graphic, and you and I talked about this because we were both Back to the Future fans, and so I love those movies. So when I was thinking about what topic we were going to talk about today, I said immediately, I thought we need to get a Back to the Future graphic going here. So shout out to all the Back to the Future fans out there. But so it's really interesting because if you think about that movie, if they are super focused at any point in those movies, whatever they're super focused on, if they weren't focused on the present moment and what's going on right now, it caused a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it caused a lot of problems. And so I'm constantly, my feeling is that I have been very focused in my own life and when I'm working with clients on being focused in the present moment, because that's really where our power lies. And what I've noticed, and I think the reason why I really wanted to talk about this in Hot Topics today was because in the spiritual community, in a lot of different communities, I would say that like 75% of the conversation that I see and the posts that I see and the events that have happened are talking about things like past lives, things with future, and I don't feel like there's enough focus on the mindfulness and what's happening right in this moment. What has been your experience with that, Donna?
I agree. I think everybody wants or my experience is, and I used to be this way too in the past as well, is I want somebody to predict for me what's fixing to happen and where I'm fixing to go, and instead of doing a little bit of the work maybe. And so I think sometimes we get focused on looking at astrology and seeing what's coming down the road, or looking at some past life stuff or past experiences, and instead of actually taking those experiences and doing some really deep, dark, raw, ugly stuff, ugly work to bring us to the future, to the now moment, because I really think focus really needs to be where you are right now.
Right.
One of my favorite mentors, Colette Baron Reed, always says, what's happening to you right this minute was from a thought that you had a second ago. So we're constantly trying to get ourselves into this moment and focus here so that we can bring in what we want to see coming down the pipe in the future.
And I think even if we do this work on the past, on things that have happened, and we do, plan for our future, and we it's perfect timing to talk about this because we're in the new moon window, which is all about kind of visualizing what you want in your life and planning about what you're going to be doing over the next lunar cycle to manifest the things that you want in your life. But and so even if we do that work, it all comes down to what we do with that information comes down to what we choose to do right here in the present moment. Right. And so I want to take a minute and acknowledge some people that are with us today. So we have our fabulous guest from last week, Jamad. He's watching, and he said he's driving. So thank you, Jamad, for watching while you're in your vehicle.
While driving? Jamad.
He's listening. He's listening.
Listening. Only listen, Jamad. No watching.
So you guys make sure to chime in below. Jamad saying, I'm all about the present, but ever so often I'll designate the time needed to reflect on my past and plan or set goals for my future. But the present is where all the good stuff takes place. I like that. 2 thumbs up. Jamad, yeah. 2 thumbs up.
I like that.
I also want to say hello to Annabelle. And Mona is joining us. Annabelle's saying she definitely needed this today. So we are super happy that you are here and joining us, Annabelle. Marla's here. Mona is saying McFly. And we have, of course, our guest Lucinda is chiming in with us as well, and we're going to hear from her in just a couple minutes. And we have my friend Emily on. She's a local friend of mine here. Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we really appreciate you guys chiming in. So let us know if you are like we have talked about, where you kind of designate the time, but you're really focused on the present, or is being present something that is difficult for you? In my work with my coaching clients, I really talk about the biggest thing that I focus on is helping them to reduce stress in their lives. And all of the stress and overwhelm that we feel is caused from things from us focusing too much on things that have happened in the past, or too much on things that haven't happened yet. And so it's really that mindfulness part, I feel like, is the most important thing. And the other thing that we talked about, Donna, is, so I really focus on the lunar cycle with my coaching group. Right. And I will look at the astrology portion of the moon phases and what's going on there. But I have made it very, very clear to my clients that unless a big shift I know is happening, I don't pull up the astrology until the minute that I'm doing the video. Because the way that I use these tools that we've been given is to make better choices in the present. And we were talking about this before the show. Donna, do you want to share what we were talking about being able to predict energy rather than energy patterns rather than exact, like I'm going to get married with 2 children, and I'm going to,
Right.
all of the specific things.
I want to say something really quick. For those people that are on my business page, I'm not seeing anybody. So I don't want y'all to think that we're not saying hey to you or whatever. So I'm in the background too, trying to get my phone fixed. So a hey to everybody that's on my page. Sorry that I'm not calling you up on it. Okay, so energy versus prediction.
Right.
Okay. So when I work with my clients, my big thing with them is when we're working with things that are coming up in the past. Okay, so let's look at astrology. So when we're looking at astrology and what's coming up for the next week, that's just the energy that's going to be there. What you choose to do with that energy, because we all have free will, we can all go in whatever direction that we want to go in, is up to us. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at that energy, it's a good time to go in and go, okay, what is this energy triggering for me? And why is this energy got me feeling this way? Whether you're feeling happy about the energy or sad or mad, it doesn't matter, because once you figure out what that energy is making you feel, it will help you down the road with other energies that come into your life, with other different signs. Because with astrology, you've got 12 different signs and how many different planets and asteroids.
There's a lot going on up there.
There's a lot going on around there. So once you kind of feel like, oh, when these things are going on, this makes you really happy. But it may not always. It just depends on what's going on within you. And so I struggle, for me, with listening to people making predictions, because for me, if that doesn't happen, then I'm thinking, well, what happened? Why didn't that happen to me? And so then I go down this rabbit hole, which Jessica knows I love my rabbit holes. I go down this rabbit hole of, well, why didn't that happen to me? Gosh, everybody's having such wonderful experiences, and I'm over here just in la-la land trying to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. So it took me a really long time to really realize that I had to learn how to feel into the energy and get really into the core center part of the energy and get out of my head. I was too into my head. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I mean, I very much agree with a lot of that. I think that we can look at patterns and we can determine what the energy pattern will continue to be, but we can't get specific, because we always have that power of choice. We always have things that happen in the moment, again proving that the present is where we need to focus our energy. Marla was saying, I have to remind myself frequently to stay in the present. Too often I get caught up in planning for the future. And Heather's joining us. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
And Greg was saying, I focus on the present. I should focus more on the future. So I guess we will finish off, because Hot Topics is done. We are over with Hot Topics. And so I guess we should finish off by saying that, like everything else in life, where we focus our energy is about a balance. It's about taking the time that you need to visit the things in the past, to visit the things that are going to happen in the future, but to really be focused on the present and have that balance there, of knowing what you need in your life and when you need it. So thank you guys.
Balance.
Yes. All about the balance. So thank you guys so much for chiming in on today's Hot Topics. It's always fun to hear your opinions and your thoughts, and of course share ours with you as well. I invite you, if you are on the replay of this video, to still chime in. Let us know what you think about the past, present, future topic, and we will be happy to interact with you after the show. So I'm going to bring up my stuff here, and without further ado, I want to welcome our special guest on the breakthrough, the amazing Lucinda Harman. So let's get her welcomed here. Everybody show some hearts, show some love in the comments for Lucinda, and welcome. We are so glad to have you here.
Hello, Lucinda.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Hi, from South Africa. Nice cold. Winter here. How are you doing today?
We are excited to have you here. What do you think about this hot topic, Lucinda? How do you feel about where we should be focusing our energy?
You know, as humans, we love control. You know, it's an inherent thing. We want to have control, and we want the controls. We want the reins 24/7. So we nag onto the past, we nag onto the future, and I've tripped down the same rabbit hole as Donna, and you know, having predictions and things done, and when it doesn't happen, berating yourself and ending up in a whole whipping match. And I think it's the most dangerous thing to do to yourself, because life is happening every minute, and we are the creators and the masters of our own destiny. Every minute of our day, we're accountable and we're responsible to be present and to make every day count. Like I know, Jessica, you said the other day on my thing, when I said I was going to a corporate job, it's early morning, it's freezing cold, and I'm saying, let's get ourselves in a good mood. Let's, you know, no matter what the conditions or no matter what's happening in your life and the worries and concerns, you can still choose your mood every single day. Yes. And the effect it has when we choose a mindset of gratitude or appreciation at a deep level, and we choose to go out in the world with a positive mindset, we start creating that around us. And that is only when we're doing the work and we are present in the present moment doing it. If we're nagging on our past and we're worried about our future, we certainly are not going to be creating that life that actually we really are destined to have, and we're certainly not going to be living our authentic life either. So that's my 2 cents on that one word.
Absolutely. And I so appreciate you chiming in on that. So when we were thinking about having people on the show for this season, you were one of the first people that came to mind. Lucinda and I connected online, and we quickly started growing our friendship because we realized that we were both double Aquarius, and we had that in common, Aquarius sun and Aquarius moon. And oftentimes Lucinda does the overthinking with me as well, and so so we're very accustomed to that. But I was so excited to have Lucinda on because it was always really interesting to me, Lucinda, that as you have gone through different things in your life, first of all, you've always been very real about it and saying, guys, I'm going through something right now, and it's you don't even necessarily have to have this smile on your face and everything else, but you're just honest about it. But there's always in the background, and you can feel that energy with you of you being determined and still positive about your situation. And so I wanted to bring you on today to talk about and to talk to the people who feel like the cycle never ends, that they constantly have one breakthrough after a next without a break. Talk to us a little bit about your story and what you have dealt with in your life.
Wow. Yeah, my story with my past, which really clung, it really hooked me for a very long time, was, sexual abuse from my mother and my father from the age of 2, and then going into a life of a lot of sexual abuse in my life. And then by the age of 15, 16, my latest thing, one of my big breakthroughs was reconnecting with a woman that came back in my life in New Zealand. And I was meant to leave for New Zealand, which never happened. We'll deal with that on one of the breakthrough moments. Was the whole gay thing at that stage, which was illegal. And the repercussions of being gay, of being ostracized, of being kicked out your own family, my mother trying to basically take my life, saying I'd rather be dead than gay. And so it went on and on and on and on and on. And I ended up on very dark areas, running away from my family, ending up at park benches, having my first sexual relationship because I had to have a bed to sleep in because the park bench was just getting too hard. So I've had a lot running behind the scenes that, as I'm getting older, and I'm 50, I've had a lot of time now, and I've really, the last 3 years, forced me to really go back and heal it, sort it out. But with every bit that I sorted was another breakthrough moment and another breakthrough moment. And as I've released and gone back, and gone through whether we want to talk about karma, whether we want to talk about people reappearing in your life, and I've certainly had them in the droves coming back, and all the chains and turmoil that they brought in, the challenges they brought in trying to come back into my life. And then my immediate I lost everything. I lost my home to sell, to try and live, try to become an online coach. I never made it online because I just it just didn't gel with me, this online thing. I'm a real human. I want real humans in front of me, and the speaker passion is very strong within me. And then I lost my car. I had no money. I had to get rid of my car, and I've ended up bottom out. I got rid of everything I had with the dream of moving to New Zealand 3 months ago, moving to Johannesburg, where I am now, relocating in the middle of everything. Now getting back a corporate job, as I realized that was all blown up. So I've been very good on my feet, and that's a thing. I've used a lot of rational to keep ahead of the game. Determination, pure tenacity, and resilience. Determination that no matter what, it wasn't going to get the better of me. Is when you go through those long hallways, and I always say Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's words because it always resonated with me in her book. I think it was The Wheel of Life. And she says, one door closes, another opens, whatever. But this is a time period, I know, for a lot of people going through who are more spiritually conscious. It's been a long period of time that a lot of people have been through incredible tests and challenges on various levels. I had a health issue about 18 months ago, and I cleaned up my life. And you're getting it on all levels. You might be bombarded by deaths. You might be bombarded by changes and relocation and people and changes in your life. And certainly I've watched most of the people in my life leave my space in life. But you go through this time period, and these hallways are a bitch. They really are mean. I mean, they're not pleasant. They're not tidy. They're dirty. They're messy. They're heart-wrenching. Talk about insomnia. I think I had insomnia for 2 years. I've just got my sleep pattern back some months back when I ended up in Johannesburg, and I went to someone and asked them to help me to get my sleep pattern back. But things had got so out of control and overwhelmed, and you eventually become so freaked out because now you're asking other people's opinions, and you're asking for outside interventions, whatever, and you're not getting it, or you're getting mixed stories, or you're getting told you're meant to go in an X direction, but you're not going in that direction because you can't predict in a space like this. There is no prediction. There's no controls left. Your controls are gone, and it's a time that you release, and you've got nothing to hold on to anymore. And in many ways, it's a very freeing time, but it's a very terrifying time because you don't know where you're going to be spat out next. There's no use in a time like this worrying about your future. It's certainly a time to let go of your past and to absolutely be conscious of every thought pattern and time in your life right here, right now. Because in time periods like this, your resilience, your ability, your courage and your strength is what is going to make you get through. And that's all you can count on at a time like this.
Would you say, Lucinda, that that's when you found your power, was when you had to pull really deep and go really deep internally and look at the deep, dark, dirty stuff?
Absolutely. When I always refer to it more like the phoenix,
Okay.
When I lost everything, when all my walls collapsed, when I lost all my possessions, people in my life fundamentally walked out my life. I had nothing left. I had nothing around me to anchor me. It's very easy while you have the home, or you have the car, or you have those external things, or you can go retail shopping, or you can go distractions. When there's distractions around, it's very, very, very easy to not focus on the present. But this forces you absolutely, and your power does come to you in a way that nothing will have power over you again. No human, no situation, no material object, nothing will have control and power over you again, because you're at such a powerful position when you rise from the ashes in your own life. When you certainly come up from that place, and you've now removed all the past stories, you've removed all the baggage, all the trash, all the chains, everything, and you're clear of all of that. And for the first time, you emerge almost completely pure in another form. And you aren't held back now. You have your voice, like I voice your power as my page and my group is. You come through at a very, and people feel your power. You can walk in a room, and it's not that power of anger, it's not that power of aggression. It's a beautiful presence you give, you exude when you go out into the world. Unconditional love was a huge part of it. When I found that compassion and unconditional love for myself in losing everything, but actually I still love myself so completely for that process without judgment, because it's very difficult when you're losing and you're going bottom out and you rock bottom to love yourself unconditionally. But the key is to tap into that. If you find that at that point, that is a saving grace that takes you up. And it takes a hell of a lot to have self-worth and self-esteem when you have got nothing and you're feeling nothingness and you're looking around you and you're seeing everybody else kind of getting there in everyone else's life, and you're thinking, I'm all alone and there's nothing and there's no one around to talk to and nothing to grab onto. There's nothing more to grab onto. There are no more life rafts. It's either swim or it's sink time. And that's when you emerge out the water. You emerge literally, and that's at a time like that.
Do you feel like all of these things that have happened in your life, what is your perspective on why you have gone through the things that you have gone through? Do you feel like there's been a divine purpose behind it? Do you feel like any of it's come from outside of you? How do you feel about the perspective of why this stuff has happened to you?
Yeah, I actually, met with my mother's spirit. She passed away, and I actually had a bit of I had a lady who's actually a police profiler that picked up her energy, and I spoke to her. Actually had a conversation with her from the other side, from the other side, this side, around us, whatever, her spirit. And I had this conversation actually with her. And I believe in life, we do choose it. For me, we do choose the life that we have. And we certainly, some of us have come here to make a difference, and some of us have come as light workers, and we really have come here to shine the light and to give people tools and to help them. The thing is that often we got into the saving mode, and we lost our power because we took it too seriously, almost as our responsibility to hold up this world and to make the difference, and and it's not. We were sent here to pass the message and to be then shine the light for others, and to encourage and to inspire and to motivate and do all those things, and to help with healing the planet. But we weren't meant to lose ourselves in the process, as we have done. We became disempowered. We almost became, like in life-serving terms, that always said, you throw out the boy and then you pull the person, but they must hold on and you help them in. If you jump in and try and help somebody, you sink too. Now, we very quickly, as healers, we jump in and we try and save everybody. We take it, even when I was 11 years as a therapist, a healer, I used to try and heal everybody. I took as my responsibility, when they left that room, I must have healed them. And if I don't heal, there's something wrong with me and I haven't done my job. And this terrible kind of berating I did of myself. I believe that we very much, yes, there are a lot of parameters we have. And then there are times that we've taken on too much, and sometimes we've perpetuated things that we needn't have perpetuated in our life. Sometimes, instead of taking a crossroad or an important time in our life and saying, you know what, now I can actually take the lighter road, we've pulled back into the savior mode, and we've made our life more difficult, and we've brought a lot of negativity and pain onto ourselves that maybe we didn't need to take on. So I think there's a shared responsibility in this question. I think some of it is by birth. We've come here for a very set purpose and very set. I think, all three of us are here for a very set purpose. I can say that very, very easily. But I think the life we're living right now is how much are we holding on to, those situations that kind of, where we feel we didn't do enough, or maybe we didn't kind of pull that person through. And, I think that's the thing, that we often get pulled back into bad patterns and kind of old karmic kind of cycles. And that's where we get hooked, and that's where we get trapped. That's my perspective, yeah.
And so it's a really interesting thing, because I think all of us feel very similarly to you, that we choose the experience that we're going to be in, and then we have other things that come into play. We have the people that we meet, the choices that we make, and all of these other things that happen. And I think that where it becomes controversial for people is that oftentimes I've heard, Jessica, I wouldn't have chosen a life where I had cancer, or I wouldn't have chosen a life where I'm abused. I wouldn't have chosen that. What would you say to someone who said that?
Good question.
I remember a satsangi one day sat with me. It was a client of mine, and she said to me, that you're a very lucky human being. And I said, how can you say I'm lucky? Look at the life I've had. And she said, you're one of the most blessed human beings I've met. You've been given adversity because you can handle it, and you've got a major mission to perform on this earth. If you are given unbelievable hardship on this planet, you have the power, and you're being given the opportunity to turn it around, and you only are being challenged because you really are being handpicked for that life. And I cannot say to anybody deeper than that. I've been through the rock and the real dregs and the dregs of a life that really is one that most human beings wouldn't ever want to challenge and wouldn't want to take on. And, I have such gratitude for what I've gone through. And I even thanked my own father in an SMS in January this year, thanking him for the life that he did give me, because I was the right soul for it. I was the person that would come here and make that difference. I was the humanitarian. I was going to speak, and I was going to come out there for people that couldn't. And I believe that we hold the flame and torch if we choose to. And that is a choice that we have. We can either stay with the victim and poor me and shame and whatever, or we can say, I choose to be empowered and I choose to carry a torch. And it's like almost in the Olympics when that person carries the torch and they run down the streets before they light up the stadium. We can light up the stadium for others to follow us. And that's the choice we get. Or we can stay in the dark rabbit hole and lick our wounds and feel incredibly sorry for ourselves. And life throws shit. Sorry the language. But life throws it at us in the droves. And it does. It does. And life is not just one big rose party, And it irritates me listening to teachers and speakers, whatever, that kind of tell you that if you're not having this fantastic life, there's something wrong with you. Rubbish. We're here to learn that we have a choice how we look at it. Like I do the thing under my mood every day, but we have a choice still in how we're going to look at it. Are we going to be positive? You can be riddled with cancer. You can be dealing with the most horrendous circumstances like I did, where I was about to be booted out in the street, homeless. I could have been. I could have just crumbled and fallen apart. But you can also choose then to go out in another way into this world and still choose to be that. I don't know if that answered that.
Lucinda, can you maybe tell me some of the things that, because your story is pretty horrific. So what tools do you have in your arsenal that help you each day stay as positive as you are? Because you are the love that comes off of you, just feeling you, and then just knowing you from what I know. Okay.
We're trying to say is we're wearing mascara today.
I wasn't going to cry today, darn it! I cried last time. So what tool? There are happy tears though. Okay, so what tools do you have in your arsenal that help you stay so positive and so inspiring, and have such amazing energy around you?
Yeah, I think I've always felt I had purpose, and that's something I drive very strongly with people when I do workshops. I believe in purpose. I've always believed that I was sent here to make a difference in this world. And that's something every day, no matter how low I went, I believed that I had a story to tell to this world, and I believed that it was meant to be. And that always held my flame. All the books I read, I got rid of all the books. I got rid of the law of attractions. I got rid of all that stuff. I still listen to motivational stuff. I'll plug it in the gym. But what I got is I got back to nature. I got back to really raw, real. I got back to putting my hands in the earth every morning and believing that I was almost part of the earth. I would even take soil and put it on my body. I got to that point that I didn't have all these wonderful, great things that people teach you, and all these, all the things that I had, I threw everything out. Even my crystals. I'm sorry, Jessica, but I did. I threw my crystals. I buried stuff before I left Bloemfontein. I buried most of my spiritual, anything that I had, my grids, my everything. And I decided I'm going to go raw, real, and I'm going to play my life at the most fundamental level. And every day I get up, I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to look at myself in the mirror and say, no matter what, I get to choose what I want to be today. And I get to choose if I want to be positive and I want to be negative. Do I want to focus on the fact of in realism, I was in big trouble. But I chose not to think that. And I always had this thing about, Lucinda, you've got to keep every day one step moving forward. Every day you get up, it's one more step, and it's one more step, and it's just one more step forward. And I had people like a Jessica would write the odd message to me the day that I was falling apart. I had people who were on a spiritual level, were connecting to the fact that I was maybe at a very sore point. I cried. I vomited through nights. I did all of it in the most literal way, and I didn't hold back. I didn't try and do it in a nice way. I didn't try and do it in a polite way. I didn't try and do it in a spiritually acceptable way. I did it in the most realist form I could, and at all times turning up in my day, and every day with an attitude of trying to leave people better than I found them, and always passing on kindness. Because when you pass on kindness to your day, it doesn't matter where you're at, immediately you generate a very positive thing around you. So I would consciously be reaching out to people. If I had to get money and I could go and have a coffee, I would go out, and I don't have to cycle because I don't have a car. And I would consciously go and engage people and start smiling at them, engaging them, putting an arm around them, whatever. And that gave me the fuel to keep going, even though I was falling at such a fast rate. Knowing that there was a plan in this, knowing that university at a level, everything was being orchestrated, knowing fully that there was a spiritual team in the background, even though I think they're on vacation most of the time, that I often do feel.
I think that too.
and I remember mountain biking on a back road of Bloemfontein before I moved to Johannesburg, and I was having an absolute tantrum. I threw my mountain bike in the bush and I just screamed. I screamed at them and I told them they're useless. I want another team. I don't want them anymore. I'm firing them. I'm sick of them. And I really had a horrible tantrum. And that day, for the first time, I got a voice loud and clear and said, stop. And I said, oh, you've got a voice. I can talk. What would you like to tell me? And the voice was clear. Don't you think there's been a plan in all of this? Why would you have doubted the power and magnitude of what you'd be putting you through right now? Because your story in coming through this is so powerful that it will shake people to the core. Because there's no lying, there's no thumb sucking, there's no making up spiritual jokes and whatever. This is raw and real, vulnerable at its best, and that's how I've done it. I've gone on my group, on my pages, on my whatever, and I've given it, even on the most rotten of days. I've cried, I've told it like it is, and people would say, delete that post, doesn't look good for, don't go to PJs, don't do this, don't do that. And I would just keep going, just doing what I do best. And I said, I'm going to give it like it is. I'm not going to try and be this like hoodwinky, I'm this fabulous person. I was going to play it always and absolutely be real in front of people and give it at the rawest form that I could to show people it's okay. It's okay to fall down, and it's okay to say I need help. It's okay to put up your hand and say, and that was one thing I got at a very low moment when this woman had now left my life. She'd come back, we'd done that whole story, we'd healed the story, and I thought we were now together. I was going to move to New Zealand, which all the plan was going to New Zealand, and she walked out my life. And that Saturday, I lay at these botanical gardens doing a yoga morning thing, and I asked for help. One of the first times in my life, I asked, and I said, I need intervention. Universe, I called for it. And through my crown chakra and through my third eye, I got this incredible energy soar through my body. And I realized at that exact point that we try and do it on our own, and we try and fight in our ego and all those things, and we are controls and reigns. But there is a bigger plan. There is a bigger thing going on behind the scenes. And I think when we get to that point where we don't fight, I think a lot of it is our human fight. We're fighting so hard because we don't want to lose things. We don't want to lose people. We don't want to lose possessions. We don't want to be uprooted where we're living. We don't want those things to happen. It's uncomfortable. We're creatures of comfort, and we love pleasure. We love easy. We want smooth. We want this easy life. We want safety nets. We want safety zones. And when you take somebody out of that, I've had no safety or comfort zone for 3 years plus. It's very uncomfortable living in that zone. But it makes you so formidable that it doesn't matter what's taken away from you anymore. You get to a point that you have your power at its truest form. and you can stand up and you can be strong, and nothing is going to dismantle you. You know, you're not beholden to people, resources, things anymore. You actually can be truly who you are. And I felt in many stages, I would say on my lives, I'd say I feel like I'm naked in front of you. It was almost like I had no clothes on anymore, you know, because I didn't carry any exterior masks, you know, getting rid of the masks, being one person to all, very important. So those were the kind of things that, and removing the conditioning, you know, that we've grown up with, the conditions and the things we've been taught, how to behave, how to be a good girl. Stuff the good girl or good boy, you know, be you, because you truly are meant to be you. We're born to be real and not perfect, you know, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are coming close to the end of our time together in our chat with you, but I would like for you to take a few minutes and speak directly to the person who right this moment when they're watching feels like, is this it for me? Is this going to continue to go on? I can't do this anymore. I feel like I can't get out of this. Speak directly to that person, if you will, and share with them a last piece of wisdom, piece of advice, piece of encouragement for them to just get through right now, this moment.
At the end of the day, you only have yourself. And invest strongly in yourself and your self-belief, your self-worth. Really find that unconditional love for yourself. Because in finding unconditional love, no matter where you're at, you can clock and find that key. That is the key to actually coming through this. Never lose hope. You've got life. Your heart is beating. Your lungs are working without any additional whatever. You've been given life. Being given life means that you've got hope and there's opportunity and there's a chance for things to be very different. And nothing in life lasts forever. Nothing. So this phase might feel like it's never going to end. This phase might feel like hell, and hell like you've never felt before. But can you imagine the sweetness when you get beyond this? And you must hold on to the moments of the sweetness that you are going to hold on to. Is the beauty and the light that is in front of you. Because nothing stays in the dark forever. And in that darkness, don't fear it. Don't feel like it's taking your life force away. You have a heart, you have your spirit, and always call for help. Never ever feel that you have to do this alone. Put a hand up and say, I need help. I need support in my life, and you will receive it. Mm-hmm. Maybe not in the way that you feel you'll receive it, but you are going to receive help. And there is a light. I hold the light. We hold the light. Nothing is the point of you cannot. You've just got to find the courage and strength and conviction and resilience and belief in yourself that you can do it. And you'll do it again. You've been here before 10-1, and you're going to do it, and you're going to come out of here, and you're going to be a shining, beautiful light to many people who are going to be fortunate to meet you. But you need to get through this to find those people, and you're going to be able to then be an inspiration to those people ahead of you because of what you've been through, the uniqueness of your experience.
I knew that you were the right person for this episode, Lucinda, and I am so thankful. I'm so thankful for your presence in my life. I'm thankful for your presence here on the show today, and I'm thankful that you have had this platform to speak to people who are really struggling right now, and I know that so many of you are, and I want to encourage you as well to make sure that you look in the description of this video, because there are links for every single one of us that are on this show today. And I know that although you see us here with smiles on our faces, because this is how we're choosing to be right now, that we have all been in that dark space before. And so I encourage you to use those links, reach out to someone. If you have no one else, please reach out. And Lucinda, if you want to take a minute and just share where anybody can connect with you further if they want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my personal page, Lucinda Harman, which is my name. My Instagram is Lucinda J. Harman. My Voice Your Power, which has been a little bit inactive, but my Voice Your Power page, I generally post every day. And my group has become a bit dormant right now. It lost a lot of gas because I kind of closed it down going through this very dark time period I was going through, and I didn't have the strength, and I needed to find a job again. So the page and I'm on Messenger. I am around, and I mean, people must just know, they're not alone. We might feel alone, and we are going to feel alone in these spaces, but you're not alone.
Absolutely. Lucinda, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so honored to be a double Aquarius with you.
Best. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. All right. We will see you next time, Lucinda. Thank you. Everybody show some love for Lucinda in the comments. Just give us some likes, give us some hearts, share this out with your friends and family and colleagues that you know that need some inspiration. Maybe they're in a dark space in their life and they just need to hear from other people who have been there and come out the other side, or maybe they're still there and they keep fighting through it. Know that they are not alone, and to share this video with them today. Donna, I shouldn't have put on mascara today.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing.
I know. And I'm so, I got into when Lucinda was talking about holding the torch and knowing that we are here for something else. Let me tell you how this happened. I got full body chills. My phone went off and told me that the moon had moved into Leo. Hello, personal power. Hello.
That's me.
And then it started thundering outside. I don't know if you guys could hear it, but we started storming here and it started thundering like crazy. So it was like this big voice from God going, hello, step into your power, people.
Yep. It's all about power.
Yeah.
All about the power. Yeah, that's funny because I had it with that, and I had it when she talked about digging deep and going really raw and dark and finding self-love for herself in the midst of all that darkness that she was struggling with, and the fact that through all of that she could love herself. Mm-hmm. She could find that little bit of courage to find love within herself, and that hit me the heart.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. There's a big lesson here to be learned today as well about the importance of creating relationships. I think on social media, social media was intended for us to be social, and we've lost that. We've lost that. I mean, raise your hand in the chat right now if you have even yourself lost that idea from time to time. We focus on business. We focus on just, hold on, sweetheart.
Numbers.
Yeah, we focus on the numbers.
How many people visiting our pages? Yeah.
Yeah, we focus on all of these different things, but we don't actually get in there and create relationships. And what happens when we do that is that we don't get an accurate picture of what has really gone on in someone's life. And I have heard, and I'm sure maybe you have heard it too, and I'm sure Lucinda's heard it too. She talked about someone commenting of how blessed she is, right? And and I have heard time and time again, Jessica, you're always smiling. Things must be just amazing in your world. It is a choice that I make minute to minute to put a smile on my face. And I don't have to, I'm not in a space in my life right now where I feel like I have to come on and share all of those, because I've worked through those things. I don't have to share all the time and feel sad about the things that I've been through because I've worked through it. But I think what a privilege that we have, and I feel the same amount of gratitude like Lucinda was talking about, to come on and share those stories with a smile on our face so that people can be encouraged that it does end if you do that deep work, if you reach down and make those choices.
Right. Right. You can find it and pull it out. I do think that we need to tell our stories, because I think people need to realize that we all have them. Everybody has a dark story to tell. And I do agree that those of us that have worked through those and have come out on the other side, we can tell those stories in a very positive and uplifting way to show people that yes, we've been there, and these are the tools that we use. They may work for you, they may not work for you, but here's something that you can try and look at. And I loved when Lucinda talked about when I asked her about her tools, and she talked about going into nature. And I love nature, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm barefooting around life as much as I can. And so that was for me, that's what brought me out, was nature and the ocean. If I am deep, dark, down and dirty, and just really in the wallowing in my story, if I go outside and if I can't make it to the water right then, if I just go outside and just dig around in the dirt and get my feet dirty and make it to the ocean, then that's what can kind of pull me out and make me go, okay, what's going on? Let's look at this and let's take it a little bit further. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciated her saying that, because I think so many times we think we need a crystal, we need yes. An affirmation, we need something, when it's just as simple as, sometimes, not always, I'm not going to minimize it, not always, but sometimes it's just as simple as going outside and being in nature and looking at what God, the universe, your higher power, whatever you want to call it, has put out here for us to help us get through all of these dark times that we're filling ourselves in the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have our fun little green room before the show, and we always have good conversation in there, and we do some cards for each other. And I was feeling a little bit airy with my airy self, and so I had to light a candle, and I had some sage going and all this stuff. So I feel like, yes, there's benefit to those things, but don't ever feel like you said, like you have to have those things in order to be able to get through something or ground yourself. I think that's a little bit of a danger, for lack of a better word, that I've seen, and this would be a great hot topic as well, that I've seen in the spiritual community, where we see everybody doing all these flashy things, and they've got 25 card decks, Jessica, and they have and they have candles, and and they have spiritual books signed by the masters, and they have their sage and their Palo Santo and their essential oils, and they're in 55 different spiritual groups. You do not have to have all of those things to be a success, to get through what you're going through, to keep your head above water. You don't have to have any of that. Yes, it's nice and it's fun to include those things, but it is more important for us to be tapped into ourselves and get to know ourselves. And like Lucinda was saying, getting down in there and getting rid of all that yucky stuff that keeps us stuck.
It's dirty.
Yeah, it is not this glamorous process. My spiritual awakening has been
horrible.
Has been a fun time.
It has been a fun time.
As I like to say it. Yeah. So don't get caught up in that stuff, guys, especially because we're going to have some other shows this season where people are talking about coaches that they've hired and crystals that they bought and special rituals that they do and being connected to different angels and guides and all and God and all of this stuff. Don't get caught up in comparison as we're going through these episodes. Keep an open mind and know that you are special on your journey, and the things that are going to help you and help you move forward are unique to you. Don't get caught up, because I'm guilty of that as much as the next person. I see somebody doing something and I'm like, ooh, how do I do that? in my Aquarius head, there I go, squirrel.
Jessica, I think you and I have a lot of certificates of a lot of different areas between energy healing and crystals and all the way down the pipe. Yeah, we both like, oh, I need to do that. I need to do that. Yeah. But yes, I agree. We need to try what speaks to you, but don't feel like if it doesn't work that means that you aren't special enough or you don't have the right tools or the right thought process. Because like Jessica said, everybody's unique and everybody has their own way of getting to where they need to be to find self-love within themselves. And just all we want to do is help you find ways to do that, to give you options to look at and to help you, guide you along that way so that maybe you'll have an easier time just listening to what these other people are going through.
Absolutely. So I don't know if you believe this or not, Donna, but we are done again. We're at the end of our show again.
I got more to say.
Every time we do this.
I do want to say one thing, though. For those of you on my page, and I know I have a lot of people on my page, I still can't see you. So I'm not ignoring you, and I love you, and I will figure out how to figure out who was on there, and I will make sure I comment on you guys later.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out too, guys. We are on a lot of different pages during this show, and so if we don't see your comment during any of these episodes, know that we will come back. Know that we will have the opportunity to. And Donna, do you want to repeat that one more time what you said, because I think I might have pushed a button. So just say it one more time about your page, but just so that everybody knows.
I said that for anybody that is on my page, please don't think I was ignoring you. I can't see you for some reason, and I don't know why. So I know that there's a lot of people on my page because it does tell me that. I just don't know who you are. So I love you guys, and I'm not ignoring you, and I will comment on my page later. When I figure out what all and who all was there.
Absolutely, yes, and yes, and just make sure, yes, and what I was saying is just to make sure that you know that we are across we're on some different platforms and some different pages and all of that. So if we don't see you, it's just because we're not tuned in to where you're seeing us at, and we will go back and check. So know that these messages are still for you. We are still talking to you, and sometimes we just don't physically see where you're at. So. All of that said, this brings us to the end of the show. I want to thank Lucinda again for being our fabulous guest today. And I, of course, want to thank all of you for being here with us, chiming in, whether you've been on live or on the replay. We are so thankful that you're here. Continue to comment and react to the show. Share it out to your friends and family. And yeah, we're so excited to be doing this and grateful to share the space with you. So my name is Jessica Dugas. I'm an intuitive mentor and energy healer.
And I'm Donna Brown, holistic wellness practitioner. And this has been The Breakthrough. So be sure to join us next week when we have an amazing lady, Heather Clark, another amazing lady. They're all going to be amazing. I just need to quit saying that, don't I? Anyway, join us next week when we have Heather Clark. She is a declutter coach and consultant, and she is going to share her breakthrough moment of from fired to free. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place, 12 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you next time.
Bye everybody.